Right, to begin with, we're going to have to secure all these seams where they're parted and perished. You can see all here. So if I'll start on this one here and I'll show you how we stitch these corners back in. This particular stitch is stitched across the corner rather than through the leather and out the other side. It's stitched right the way to these pieces across the corner, as it were. So the needle goes through back into as near as the original stitching hole. You draw the needle through and then you get the two sides together. They're the same length. Then we go back in and start stitching proper. The next hole along and feel your way through. Let the needle run through. Pick it up there. Hold on to this side. Draw the needle back through the opposite needle. Drop it round the top and pick it up. And if you look closely, you'll see there's a figure of 8 or a knot been formed. And keep on drawing it, the same tension on each one, so that each one closes up. And then put a bit of tension on it, and not too much tension. You remember, you're dealing with 40 to 60-year-old leather, and if you put too much tension on it, you can literally pull the stitch straight through, like, you know. So off we carry on going now. It's just a case of take your time, feed the leather through. It's often more use to catch the hole from underneath. Watch where you're doing and where you're pushing it. It's very fragile, this leather. Around over the top, pick up the needle and out, and then draw the length in, so you end up pulling it in. Not too much tension. And then the next one goes through. It's very time consuming, but you get an idea of what we're trying to achieve without damaging the case any further. Now that one there is in the wrong hole. I've missed a hole there, but it all depends how much damage the leather has as to whether I have to jump a hole. I think I might have to jump a hole there and follow it through there. It won't show too much, and this stitching I'll dye down when we put the final treatment on, so it won't stand out like new yellow stitching. And you can see it draws that joint together, and we just follow it through, really. But you can see how it's begun to secure that seam back into place. We have to do that then all over, down all these seams. It makes a lot of difference pre-preparing the hole. See how easy it's going. But then, you know, it's all time at the end of the day, you know. Just, you got to feel the way. This is what I'm saying. But you see what I did then? I caught, this is what happens a lot of the time. You catch, the needle goes back through the thread like that. And then if I carried on pulling that, I'd pull it through, then you stop all stitching. So you've got to, part of the process is you've got to make sure that that stitch is clear, like, you know, when you draw the stitch through. And then you pull the stitches down into place. It's very peaceful, therapeutic, you know. I'm going to have to start making my own holes here now because there's no holes left. And I've got to reinforce the corner and pull it all back into place. So what we use is a diamond-shaped awl to penetrate the whole corner and into what leather's left on this side here that hasn't worn away. Then feed that back through, withdraw the awl and feed the needle down at the same time, so it acts as a guide for the needle when you've made a new hole. But what I want to do in a minute, we'll just put a one lock stitch there. Bring it down and tight, and you can see now, but all this will be covered with a new corner anyway, so we're not looking for aesthetics here. Double lock stitch on there, and you'll see that now start to pull that corner into place. And then we'll go through and over again in the same hole to draw that down and lock it off. You soon learn after a few years of where to put the needles and where not to, and a bit of pain does a good to jog your memory. We'll pull that down there now, so you can see that's pulling that corner in tight, and then we just have to repeat that process right the way down the rest of the seam. All this will be covered, remember, so we're not looking for it looking pretty. Nobody's going to see it when it's finished. I'll just go one last locking stitch here. Draw that through, double stop, and draw it through, and then we'll literally just stop that one there and go no further with that stitch on that seam, because the corner's going to cover that, and then once that's done, it's finished. Like that. And cut those off. And cut it down. And there we have the reinforced seam ready to take the corner. Like that.